Hey, it's Mike Triem with Crawford Media Group. Today we're joined by Stacy Echeverria. Stacy is a licensed pastoral counselor, temperament therapist. She works with people all sorts of areas. And Stacy, we're so grateful to have you again. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me back.
Hey, we're talking about healthy mental habits for 2024. And Stacy, we just feel like you have a lot for our listeners to hear about and to learn in this area. Talk to us about some things we need to be doing.
Yeah, one thing that I always tell my clients to do is pray. It's really simple. You can pray anywhere, anytime. Prayer is a really great way to get grounded. It's a great way to be in the presence of God. And then when you sit silently waiting for the Lord to speak, you'll hear him, and he will direct your path. And so usually when we're having some mental health issues or there's stress, anxiety, worry, whatever, we're all over the place. But when we allow ourselves to just take a deep breath, take some time by ourselves in our prayer closet, if you will, and spend time in the Lord's presence praying, your heart rate will decrease, you'll get centered, and you'll have clarity. And this works for me all the time. Life is just go, go, go. And when I just take the time out to spend time with him, I hear from him. And then I'm able to make decisions wisely because I've spent time with him. So, what does it cost anyone taking 5 minutes a day to sit with the Lord, pray, and hear from him? It costs nothing. But, oh boy, the rewards are just infinite.
Stacy, we pray before our staff meetings here at Crawford, and it's something I think about when we're praying, or usually it's our boss praying, typically. Mm-hmm. And I just feel like my spirit's being quieted, and it's, I guess what you're talking about there, it's pretty hard to kind of think, oh, this meeting's going to be too long, or I got 10 other things I have to do right now. And instead, you focus on the Lord, and then you're not focused on you. I don't know if that works, but for us. Yeah,
no, absolutely. When you're focused on the Lord, then you're going to know what to do next, what the priority is, because he sets it all up for you. So that's why we need to be spending time with him, because he's going to direct us in the way that we should go. And if we're not spending time with him, guess who gets to come into all of that? Yeah. It's the enemy who comes in and creates the chaos.
Yeah, almost seems like a boredom thing. And is that related to number 2 on the list that you would give us is, sometimes we'll say, okay, if we just stay busy, then we won't think about those things. But then you're just doing busyness, Right. So that's not fulfilling. That's not what God wants either.
Not at all. And, let's just say this. We are human beings, not human doings. So
it's good.
It's something to think about. Yeah.
Okay. So what is the number 2? Pray first.
Yeah.
Second?
Yeah. Number 2 is gratitude. So developing a heart of gratitude. And we can forget the blessings that we have when we're focused on the things that aren't going right, the things that are creating stress in our lives, worry, whether it's finances, the kids, a relationship, the job, whatever it is. When we're not developing gratitude, we can focus on all the negative things that are going on rather than how can I be grateful for even the struggle that I'm experiencing and seeing God in it. So we're always, more, trying to keep up with, the Joneses and all this and that. And we are never satisfied. We are coming from that place of not having enough, lack, poverty mindset. We can be grateful for all that we need. Whatever it is that we want that we end up getting is a bonus. But just focusing on the simple things in life that we can be grateful for, and knowing that, trials and tribulations do come, but in those trials, the Lord is growing us, he's stretching us, he's molding us, he's crafting us. So I have gratitude for all the trials that I've been through because I wouldn't be who I am today without them.
Stacy, I was going to ask you about that. It's something we talk about a lot, where something hard's happening, and it's hard to tell the person, what's God teaching you through this? What is he growing you in? But that really is the truth. somebody told me the other day, if life was just all's good, there's Care Bears, and we're and it's just wonderful, you miss the contrast of the good times and the times when it's kind of hard in understanding what God's building in you, what He's teaching you during those times.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. So true.
Okay. And so pray, gratitude, maybe being joyful too, right? In the midst of that. What's a third thing that we need to really work on?
Yeah, I would say managing expectations. So many of us have unrealistic expectations, and especially in relationships, right? Whether there's a spouse, a partner, a fiance, whatever, kids. We have to be really clear, especially in our relationships, whatever they are, especially at work too, in ministry, to be clear to communicate what we do expect from other people. But also keep in mind that they may not always do what is expected. And so just manage the expectations. They need to be realistic, grounded in reality, not something that is just far-fetched and out there. Because if we don't manage them well, it will create a lot of not only mental issues for us, but emotional issues too. So the expectations that we have of others, what I tell people too is, are you able to meet those expectations yourself? Because if you cannot meet those expectations yourself, you cannot expect others to meet it either.
Stacy,
so be realistic.
What do you say, Stacy, to the person that I've heard a lot, well, I don't expect much because then I'm not disappointed if, X and Y doesn't happen, but that seems kind of self-defeating already. Right.
To me, the only one that you can really expect the outlandish expectations from is the Lord, right? So expect that He will fulfill His promises because He does. Expect that His word does not return void because it doesn't. Expect that the Lord will be there with you in whatever it is that you may be going through. He goes before you. He is with you. He's in you. So expect that He will never let you down, right? People will let you down. They will. So, but it's being realistic in the relationships, right? Right. Don't expect that your spouse is going to be perfect because they're not, and neither are you. Will they make a mistake? Will they break your heart? Will they disappoint you? Absolutely. But how then can you navigate through that realistically?
That's really good. Isn't it kind of part of that thing? Let's say guy comes home and his wife's coming home from work, so they're both working, and it's like, well, doesn't she understand how hard I work? And she should act this way or do this, or we should, and then she's probably thinking, dude, I'm taking care of the kids on the side, and I'm working, and I'm doing this and doing that and do that. What part of that doesn't make sense to you?
Right. Well, and here's the other part of that. So when we ask others to act in ways that are not consistent with their own interests, they will probably resist our expectations, leaving us resentful. So we need to keep that in mind.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah. It's expectations are not good, whether it's work, relationships, expecting God, expecting God what's biblically He's told us He's going to do. Sounds like you're saying all good there. If you're expecting the ones you made up or something, a person, expectations of a person, then, who knows?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. So, summarize, you've talked about pray, gratitude, managing expectations. Part of that's getting out of ourselves. Is there a fourth-ish? I think we're up to 4.
Yeah, we are. Well, 4 and 5 go together, so flexibility and resiliency. So flexibility is being able to quickly adapt to new circumstances as they arise, right? So that means not being rigid, not being stuck in your ways, having all or nothing thinking, black and white thinking, which doesn't allow you to move and be flexible, okay? Resiliency is successfully adapting to difficult or challenging life experiences and being able to work through emotional pain and suffering. So there will be suffering as Christians. We can't get out of it. So how are we going to, learn to be resilient in that? How can we be flexible when new things come our way, when there's an unexpected job loss, right? How can we be flexible in that? I've experienced that multiple times. And for me, it is, Lord, I'm counting on you to come through, and I'm counting on you to provide because you say that you will. So what can I be doing? What's my part in that? So I flex. How can I be creative in this? What else, can I allow the Lord, to lead me toward or into? I'm not staying stuck where I'm at, especially in the workplace where if you've got deadlines or you've got projects that are going on, and suddenly the client's like, nope, I don't like that idea, let's do something else. Well, you've got to learn to be flexible and adapt to that. And then resiliency, right, is really important. There's a generation that's lacking that mental health, that resiliency, right? So stressful things happen, difficult things happen, and they just don't know how to move in that. They don't know how to work through the emotional pain and the suffering of it. And that's really sad to me.
You think, Stacy, some of that too is even just the inability to hang in there, because you and I both, haven't we had those periods where we just could look back and say, well, I just kind of hung in there because, I wasn't going to give up, and things didn't get better for a while.
Right.
What do you do?
Yeah. Well, that's perseverance, isn't it? That's endurance. That's
good.
Running the race.
Yeah.
As Paul says, run the race. He's not talking about a sprint here. He's talking about a marathon, and it's lifelong. It's running that race, and we get to choose if we run the race well or not. If we're going to check out of life and sit in the bleachers, or if we're going to get in the field and play.
We're speaking with Stacy.
We get to choose.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Stacy.
No, that's it. That's it.
So the website's trueyouministries.com, trueyouministries.com. And Stacy, so we've got a couple minutes left. How would you tie all this together to give us a good springboard for this year, mental health, just kind of working on some things for each one of us?
Yeah. If you're not someone that prays, start praying. 5 minutes a day. See how things start to change for you. Create a habit of praying. Start with 30 days. It takes 30 days to develop a new habit. And then find one thing that you're grateful for every single day. I always tell people, keep it short, keep it simple. Don't go crazy. Don't try to figure out 10 things every day. Now, start with one. It could be as simple as, I'm awake, I got out of bed this morning, I have another day of life. There's something to be grateful in that, right? So start there. Keep it really simple at first, and then everything else will fall into line. When you're praying, when you're developing gratitude, you're able to manage your expectations, you'll learn how to be flexible, and then you'll develop resiliency.
And do you think, is it okay if we end with that resiliency part? Don't stop. Don't give up. If you pray for 5 days, let's say, and then you miss a couple days, well, just start back up. We all just figure, I failed.
Yeah, right. And then you check out and you don't do it. No, keep going. It's okay. Keep going. Well, you know what? If you're not doing it every day, then start even smaller than that. 3 days a week.
That's good.
5 minutes. 3 days a week, and then build up. Add it, in a couple of weeks, add a 4th day. In a couple of weeks, a 5th day. Start where you're at and build, as you're able to. But the key here is to have that consistency and that perseverance and endurance.
Stacy, so good. Wrap us up real quick with how people get a hold of you. And they can make, here in Colorado, they can make Zoom appointments with you. So they like what they heard today, they can give you a call. How do they get a hold of you?
Yeah, my phone number is 626-461-3344, or my website, trueyouministries.com. I do have a free consultation that I offer, and you can book directly with me through my website.
Sweet. Stacy, thanks so much. You're helping us.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone.